Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Bowling University studio here at the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. This is the Profit Break. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you're going to be well on your way to improving yourself and your profitability. Now, for many small businesses, digital marketing and social media advertising can be intimidating as we don't often consider ourselves tech savvy. Knowing where and how to spend your precious marketing budget is hard enough without layering in technology. You're in luck, as today's guest, her single mission is to make the internet a friendlier place for small business owners just like you. Join us today is Nicole Krug, who is the founder of Social Light, where she helps clients hone their digital marketing strategies to bring more exposure to their brand while boosting the bottom line. Nicole, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you for having me. It is always a pleasure to be part of the BPAA.
Awesome. Well, we are excited about having you back with us at Bowl Expo. So let's jump right in here. We say kind of in marketing circles, we have kind of this joke that we know that 50% of all marketing works. We just don't know which 50%, which keeps us employed. But on the serious side of that, when you think about social media advertising, is it effective? Is it even worth it? Should we even spend any time in this space?
You know, my joke with my marketing pals is that marketing actually works if you do it. The problem is, especially for small business owners, is that you get so lost in your day-to-day of running the business that you don't always plan for growth. And that's especially true of marketing and social media advertising campaigns as a whole. Now, advertising campaigns on the whole, it's considered a 2% conversion rate is actually considered a positive campaign, but you can certainly increase that. And social media has the tools to help you hone in on the right people and make sure that you're targeting your message. It's just about how much you plan your campaign and make sure that you are hitting the right people.
Yes, I agree. And I know you're going to dig in much deeper with us when you join us in Denver at the Bowl Expo. But just to share a little bit with our viewers today, when you think about platforms, right, it can be a little overwhelming. There are a lot of platforms. Mm-hmm. If you had to narrow it down, what are your top two and why?
So this seems like a straightforward question, but you actually just kind of targeted into the heart of what makes social media advertising hard and what you need to do to plan a campaign. Now, we think about when the bowling centers probably just want bowlers to come in, right? That seems straightforward. However, let's think about all the different types of bowlers you have. You have your league bowlers. You have your families that are running birthday parties there. You have maybe young singles that are looking for more of a nightlife experience with the Cosmic or the Midnight Bowling. Then you even have business professionals that maybe they're having team building or some kind of business event. Those are very different people, even though you want them all to come into your center. So when you're advertising, one of the first things to do is think about specifically what you're advertising, not just bowling. Are you advertising parties at your bowling? Are you advertising family fun? And so if you think business and parents, two very different things, right? So the parents, they're probably going to hang out on either Facebook or Instagram. And so good news there is that they're both under the umbrella of Meta Business. So you can do advertising on both of them in one shot. But if we're trying to get business clients over there, we'd be looking more into LinkedIn. Now, we haven't even gotten for YouTube for the younger set and how most people are consuming things for with video. So I realize I just kind of circled around your answer a little bit because I don't have favorite ones because it's so dependent on first what you want to advertise and then figuring out where your audience is and how to reach them.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you have studied our business and our industry and taken the time to dive into those customer segments and understanding that. And I hope people tuning in today heard what you said. If not, they need to go back, rewind it, and listen to it because it's gold there in understanding the different product segments and that while we're selling the experience of bowling, that experience is different for each of those product categories. So I know you talked a little bit about LinkedIn and Facebook, so let's target those to start with. We certainly have some others that we can think about, but when you think about the 800-pound gorillas in Facebook and LinkedIn, should we be looking at different targets within each of those? It kind of goes a little bit to what you were just chatting about, where each of those target segments hangs out.
So, what a lot of people don't really realize about what makes social media advertising so powerful is that you can really customize your audience. So, there's a couple ways to do that. First off, you could take an email list of your existing clients, the people that came in. Maybe that is specifically to parents that had birthday parties, and you load that up into Facebook, and you say, "Find me more people like this." So that's called a lookalike or basing or a custom audience based off people you already know. They're looking for the same characteristics. But let's say you are a new center owner, you just took over this, you don't have a big database, or you're just trying to build up a part of your business. That's when you would go into the different targeting for characteristics. So on Facebook, let's say you can target specifically by zip codes or a city, so you can hone very specifically in. You can target by age group. You can target by whether they are a parent or not, and so much as well as interests. So let's flip over to the regular bowler. If you have, I'm going to not lie, I don't know the bowling stars in the industry, but let's say that people are following certain pros or they're following certain brands of bowling balls. You can target the people that haven't expressed an interest in bowling. In fact, that might be a nice target for more of your league advertisements. LinkedIn has similar tools but different demographics, right? So we're less interested on LinkedIn in your family status, but perhaps you are looking for HR managers to have those business things. So you can target straight in by job titles have a business in, let's say, a 10-mile radius of your center. And so there's a lot of great tools that you can get in there. But again, and I know sound like I'm kicking a dead horse, you have to really know who you want to reach in order to use those tools effectively.
Yeah, and I think, an important thing you just made me think of there, Nicole, is that regardless of how you're trying to communicate with the guest, you have to know and target the guest, whether you're doing it old school or whether you're trying to do some of these new digital. And sometimes we let technology kind of overwhelm us, but the reality is the basic blocking and tackling, we still have to know who the target guest is we're trying to communicate with.
It's true. It's that one-on-one, you can pick up cues and it's a little bit easier, right? But that's so you have to think ahead of time. And there's this whole idea in marketing of this idea of brand personas, right? Where you actually think about the things. So let's say parents. Most of the time it's going to be a mom. Sorry, dads, but most of the time it's moms that are planning the party. So maybe you are targeting specifically women, let's say in the age of 30 to 40. That may or may not be right, but that's where you can get in and you can really think about the type of people that are going to go in there. Now, on the bonus point, Facebook has a tool that says, I also want to target people that are likely to interact with ads, that they have a history of shopping or doing, as opposed to somebody that just always scrolls through the newsfeed and doesn't click on things. So lots of great tools as long as you're thinking about it. And like Bart just said, you have to really sit and think about the people that you want to go after.
Yeah. So Nicole, I'm going to jump back for a second because you brought up something that I want to get your expert opinion on. Because you talked about the personas there as it relates to Facebook and LinkedIn. So in Facebook, many of our small businesses, the brand is the business. You don't often see the individual. It's the bowling center, the entertainment center that is the brand. When it comes to LinkedIn, in your expert opinion, do you think that the brand, can it be an individual representing the brand, or is it okay for it to still be the brand, right? I've heard different kind of folks take different sides when it comes to LinkedIn specifically, if that makes sense.
Sure. So LinkedIn is definitely driven by the individuals. The only time that you're really going to see a brand in your newsfeed is when it's an advertisement. So this gets into the difference of what we call organic social, which is when we're posting to be regular, top of mind, see people, gather connections, and build relationships, as opposed to when we're just advertising. So if you are just on LinkedIn, if you want to be there on a regular basis, you are going to go through individuals. So most of the time, if my team is helping clients do LinkedIn, we are posting under the president or the CEO or, the top kahuna. Now, for your center, the big dog may not actually be the face of it. It may be your league manager or whoever is normally at the front desk that's sending these things out. But this gets into the idea of brand, right? That it all should sound together. And so I am very much part of Socialite's brand, right? Socialite is my company. And so the things that come out are my personality, so to speak. But if you are posting an individual, it's tough if you've got like a really snarky individual, but your brand is family friendly, right? So no matter who you're going under the umbrella of, it should be unified. But I will say, when I was at the Edupalooza, I was talking to a couple of guys, and I can't remember which town, but their bowling center was very college and oriented, right? That it was, that was kind of their I hate to say their shtick, but that was the type of people that were coming in. They were college kids. They were bowling on the weekends. They had obviously different things, but that was their personality. There are going to be other bowling centers that are very family focused, other bowling centers that are about the nightlife and the, kind of the millennial, the more club environment. And so what I'm trying to say is that whoever it goes out under your business or your individual, it should still be representative of what to expect from your bowling center.
Good. Thank you for that. So let's jump topics a little bit, and something that is always at the top of the list of questions that our folks have is budgets, right? Sad, but true, small business owners often have small, sometimes non-existent budgets. What do we need? How much does a small business need to really make a difference?
So you can boost a post on Facebook for $10, right? And that's actually, I like starting out with small samples and even testing some different things against each other while you're trying to find your audience before you throw a few $100 at it, because Facebook can eat up that money like nobody's business. And if you're not sure it's the right target, you don't want to just throw a couple $100 down the drain very quickly. I actually like starting small and testing and seeing where it's going and seeing if it's making a difference in your business. So obviously bigger budget, bigger reach, but you can certainly be beneficial by just, if you have $100 budget a month and you boost 10 different posts, that'll still get you somewhere.
Yeah, and I hope everybody heard that, because it doesn't take a large amount to make a difference if you're doing what you're talking about in testing there. So before we let you go today, I'm going to sneak in another question here, because I know you got a lot to unpack when you join us in Denver there. But you mentioned about kind of testing. How do we know if an ad's working? Is there a tip or a trick you can share with us? How do we test and track to see what's making a difference?
So this will be one of the harder parts of your campaign, right? Because there are metrics, and you should pay attention to it. Things like click-through rate and how many people are coming to your website versus it. But the social media is notoriously difficult to track. And here's why. Let's think of the scenario is somebody's scrolling through their newsfeed and sees something on Cosmic Bowling and, hey, thinks that sounds really fun. So they call up a buddy and say, hey, what are you doing Friday? They decide they're going to go, and they just roll in. So your ad actually worked in this scenario, but they didn't interact with it. So you would not have any idea of where they came from Facebook unless you've got your staff trained to say, hey, how'd you hear about us? What'd you come in? So, and it's not enough to just say, oh, this guy said Facebook. You have to record it. Now this gets tricky. Of course, we've all got different CRMs and different systems, but the best thing today is say, I advertised Cosmic Bowling, or I advertised Duck Pin Bowling. After I did that ad let's compare the current month to the month before. Did anything change? And so you can definitely look at metrics. But in this type of thing, you also have to be mindful and actually go out and ask people if they're seeing things on Facebook.
Good. Well, Nicole, thank you again for some great tips. We are excited to have you with us at Bowl Expo. Be here before you know it.
I can't wait. And so I look forward to seeing you and everybody there.
Awesome. Well, hey, gang, if you're ready to leverage your marketing spin and learn how to focus your advertising spin, then you need to be in Denver July 3rd for Nicole's session with us at Bowl Expo. If you're ready to start improving your profitability, you can reach us anytime at education@bpa.com. So as we wrap up another edition of the Profit Break, remember, when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. Now, this episode, as well as all our previous episodes, are available 24/7 for you and your team at bowlinguniversity.net. Make sure you join us as we have new episodes every month. Mark your calendar, watch your email, join us on Facebook to hear about all the latest episodes. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.